How's it going out there, YouTubers and all subsequent social media lands? Welcome to an all-new ranking video. So let's get right into this ranking video and see what movies I'll be ranking. So welcome to an all-new ranking video, people out there in YouTube land and all subsequent social media lands. Welcome. So in this ranking video, I actually did a poll recently on Twitter asking which ranking video they would like to see next, and it ended up being Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit films. So I'll be doing a ranking video of those 6 films for you guys just now, so let's get right into it. So to start this off, at number 6, people, coming in at number 6 is my least favorite of all 6 films, and that actually happens to be the first Lord of the Rings film, The Fellowship of the Rings. Now, the reason why I put this one last is because this one was the one that bored me the most, basically. I didn't feel this one had enough action in it, and I just didn't think that, even though it's kind of the beginning of the series, and kind of introducing us to these characters from the book, that J.R.R. Tolkien, created that were such amazing characters, it didn't feel as awesome and action-packed and, as well written as the other films I feel that I have come across in this, film series of 6 films. Now, when it comes to this one too, I also felt that this one lacked the best, costume design, and it didn't have as great, presence, I feel, as, like, say, Two Towers, as The Return of the King, as An Unexpected Journey, or Battle of Smaug, and, all those different ones, and, the Battle of 5 Armies, and, all that kind of stuff. And out of my personal opinion, out of all the films, I thought that this one was the least best of all the film series, too. Some of the fact that, it's the first one, too, as well, so I feel like they were kind of working all the kinks and stuff like that out, too, as well. So, as they went along, they progressively got better, and that's why I put Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Rings, at number 6. So coming in at number 5 on my list of ranking the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit films, comes in at number 5 is Hobbit, The Unexpected Journey. Oh yeah. So I picked this one at 5 because I think out of the rest of the films, this one is probably my least favorite, or I feel, once again, it's a beginning of a film series, of a new film series that kind of, didn't have as much action in it as it should have, and same as with the first one, The Fellowship of the Rings, I felt the same exact thing. They just got better and better as they progressively went along. But at the same time, I still think that, the Hobbits visually were so much better. And so this one I put ahead of Fellowship of the Ring simply for the fact that just at the time, the graphics are so much better too as well. But I also thought that the film was just really well conceived too, as and a whole really well directed, by Jackson. And I just thought that the whole premise was really awesome, and kind of how they spread out the whole Hobbit book into 3 different films too as well. And I thought out of all 3 of the films, this one was probably the least of my favorite and the lackluster of those 3. And so that's why I'm putting that one at number 5. Coming in at number 4 on my awesome list of ranking the Hobbits and Lord of the Rings is none other than another one of the Hobbit films, coming in at number 4, and that is The Hobbit Battle of the 5 Armies. Oh yeah! So Battle of the 5 Armies I thought was a little bit better than Unexpected Journey. I thought the sequences of action were so amazing in it, and it was kind of the conclusion to that, that film trilogy, and gave it an interesting, kind of tie in to leading into the, the first film, The Fellowship of the Rings, kind of with Frodo coming into the picture a little bit more, and, Bilbo being done, and so forth. And so I thought that this one was a little bit better than I said, Unexpected Journey, and I thought it was better than, of course, The Fellowship of the Rings, simply, once again, because I thought there was a lot more action in it, a lot better storyline, and also just better graphics all around. And when it comes to me for, like, science fiction, fantasy films, action films, stuff like that, to me, the graphics are the number one thing that's going to make me so entertained about the film. If the graphics are fantastic, if they're really well done, they're really well incorporated, that's what's going to pull me in to really enjoy a film, besides, the acting, the writing, of course. But that key component just makes it so much better for me. And it entertains me more because it keeps me interested in the film. Because if you got lackluster CGI, it's going to be like, oh, that kind of annoys me, so I'm not really going to pay attention and not really enjoy the film. So that's why also Battle of Five Armies is up there for me at number 4 as well. And I just thought that it was just a better film than the previous two as well. So coming in at number 3 on my ranking list of the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings film is none other than the third film in the Lord of the Rings film series that won all 11 of its Academy Awards. And that, of course, is Lord of the Rings Return of the King. Oh, yeah. So you're like, why do I rank this one number 3? Well, there's a couple of reasons why I rank this one. Even though it won all those Oscars and is a really fantastic film, I love Two Towers even more, especially the extended cut. I just thought that was one of my all-time favorites of the Lord of the Rings was Two Towers, and I just thought that it was really well conceived, really well done, and I just thought it was best of that 3-film series. Definitely, Return of the King is my second favorite of those films. Like, if I was just doing a ranking, it would be Two Towers, Return of the King, and then, of course, Fellowship of the Rings. And so, once again, this one, the graphics had, fully gotten even better, within the 2 years from the first film. And the story was really awesome. The conclusion of that book and just giving us all that coolness and, seeing Aragorn take the throne and all that kind of stuff. It just was such a fantastic film and just really well conceived and really well done. And I just thought it was a lot better than Fellowship. And also I think it's better than Five Armies and Unexpected Journey. Just really well-rounded film too, and deserved every one of its 11 Oscars as one. And so that's why I put that one at number 3. Coming in at number 2 on my list of the Hobbit ranking and Lord of the Rings ranking is none other than my favorite of the original film series from the 2000s, and that of course is The Two Towers. Oh yeah! So Two Towers I put at number 2. Like I said in the previous ranking, this one just was my all-time favorite of those 3 films. And the battle sequences in this film were so on point and amazing. And then just the extended storyline and the extended edition of the film just made it even more, awesome and stuff like that. We got introduced, a lot more to, Gollum's character, Schmiegel's character, kind of getting to know him more in this film. You got to see Aragorn kick some butt a lot. You have, the funniness between the giant, attack sequence pretty much during the middle of the movie, I feel, where Gimli and Legolas are fighting and they're keeping count of how many they've killed. It well-rounded, all-around film. And I felt this one should have won several of its Oscars. It got nominated for 2. It should have gotten nominated just as much as Return of the King. This one was just such a fantastic film. And definitely, I enjoy watching this one the most, pretty much, out of all the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings films. And I just thought it was a really well done film. I just got done recently rewatching them recently, too. And I just remember going, man, why haven't I watched this in so long? It's such a freaking fantastic film. Just really well conceived, like I said. And I think that this one deserves to be number 2 on the ranking scale because it's just such a fantastic film. If you haven't seen any of the Lord of the Rings or Hobbit films, definitely check them out, people. They're worth the watch. And that's why this one's at number 2. So, coming in at number 1, yes, my favorite all-time of all the 6 films, my number 1. You're going to be surprised, because it's the only one that's left that I haven't mentioned. Anyways, it, of course, is one of the Hobbit films. And funny how my top 2 tier are both the second film of each of the trilogies, which I find really funny. I was just thinking about that. I'm like, that's interesting. But at the same time, they're 2 of the best films, I feel. And that, of course, is The Hobbit. Desolation of Smaug. Oh, yeah. The introduction to Smaug in this film was so freaking amazing. Giant dragon that's just really badass. You got Benedict Cumberbatch doing his voice, which is awesome. These films, like I said, because they were made, over a decade later from the other films, the CGI is so amazing, and that really proved into these films how amazing they looked, too, as well. And this film, it's one of my favorite because of the giant spider sequence, when they're battling the giant spiders in the forest, which is one of my all-time favorite scenes of any of these type of films. It's such an immense and awesome scene, especially when, Bilbo's starting to take some out with, the stinger and stuff like that. It's such an amazing sequence. And then, of course, you get more introduction to some other creatures throughout the land. You get the giant trolls that they battle, and it's just such an amazing and awesome film. And I just think that this is my all-time favorite, simply for that fact of that spider sequence. And I just think that it was so well conceived and really well done from the book perspective too, as well. I think that this film did a really good job of keeping things pretty accurate to the book. Of course, movies always take liberties on how they do things, but at the same time, I thought that they did a good job with that in this whole entire film, and just making it such a fun part of that book. And I just think that this is the best out of all 6 of the Hobbit Lord of the Rings films. This is my personal opinion, that it's the best one, but, you decide for yourself which one's your favorite, but at the same time, that's why this one's my number one, because it's just such a fantastic film, such an amazing film. It should have definitely got nominated for some Oscars, but fortunately it didn't. It should have, but such a great film, and I'm very happy that this is my number one, because it's one of my favorite ones to watch too as well, besides Two Towers, and just really well done, and just really great cast too as well. If you haven't seen any of the Hobbits or the Lord of the Rings, definitely check them out, people. They're worth the watch. Amazing film, great series, and so much fun to watch. So that's it for this ranking video, folks. As always, thank you for watching, thank you for liking, and also thank you for subscribing. And if this is your first time here, or you have been here before and you haven't hit that subscribe button, what I gotta do, have Gandalf come in and say, "You must not leave without hitting that subscribe button." Come on, people, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss this video and the awesome videos I put up. And as always, people, keep your eyes out for any older, newer videos you might have seen mine yet. As always, people, check out the awesome link down below about the awesome horror pack, which is a great subscription service, especially in the time that we're in, where you want something cool to watch, horror films specifically. They come right to your door every month of great horrorness, and you just get tons of great, cool stuff. I mean, the last horror pack I got Bloodfest, I got Land of the Dead. I mean, I got in some really good films from the horror pack, and it's a great low price. So that's something you're interested in. Go ahead and check out that link down below, and you'll get a discount on your first month if you're a new-time subscriber as well. Yeah. As always, people, catch you in the next one.